Hi folks, Slick Slices here. A post on Facebook just now reminded me that I never did a video on this particular knife. I've a number of Maserin knives, but this one seems to have slipped through the net. I think I've done videos on all of the others. This one here is the Colt in jigged bone. And it's a small sort of waistcoat pocket sized knife. In fact, I'll just zoom out a little. That's a bit better. You can see the whole of the knife. It is quite a small little knife, deceptively so perhaps, but it's not the smallest little knife in the world. Compared to the one I have done a video of, which is the 619. Oh, I need to zoom out even further. They're getting bigger. It's much smaller than the 619, but if you were to compare it to, say, a Case Peanut, let me just move these down a wee bit. It's certainly larger than the Peanut or this year's Vault knife, the Mini Hunter. It's certainly larger than that, but smaller than, let's move some of this out of the way a little, the Case Mini Trapper. So this isn't a large knife by any means, but it's not the tiniest little knife either. Now, take the case knives out of the way. I did a video on the 619, which is a knife I really like quite a lot, actually. The double bolstered look is always a thing that I appreciate. I do like a bit of jigged bone. What I don't like about this one is the shield. I just don't think it's very attractive. Very attractive shield. It's nice enough, ram's head, but it looked just a bit cheap and silvery, really, to my mind. And certainly, these have this one has the CK branding, stainless steel. Now, I say that's the Maserin 619. This one here, the Colt, is a sort of slightly smaller version. I quite like the shape of it. It's very similar in shape, actually, to the Peanut, but in reverse. If you imagine them like that, it's sort of very similar, but a sort of a mirror image, one of the other. Yeah. So, and obviously they're slightly larger than the Peanut. But again, it's a stainless steel blade. I don't know what the steel is. I don't imagine it's anything very exotic, and it's certainly not marked. We've got nickel silver bolsters. We've got the nice little jigged bone covers. I actually prefer these to the 619's covers. 619 is a bit darker, and you get this kind of, it looks sort of mismatched white and dark on when you look at the sides of the liners, and same with this one. This is much more even and consistent, and I say a slightly lighter hue, which shows more figuring in the bone or in the jigging, which I rather like. Of course, European, so it's bound to have massive billboarding on the blade, which obviously says, you can see the Maserin made in Maniago, Italy, the big M. That's the same as the 619. No tang stamp on this though, on either side. One thing I did notice with this, in terms of fit and finish, I mean, it looks okay. It's not outstanding, but it's okay. One of the covers was a little bit loose, so I used a little bit of super glue on it because you know, I mean, I could have sent it back, but honestly, I just couldn't be. I really just couldn't be bothered. I mean, the covers are pinned. It's actually this pin here that was just not, maybe not sort of flattened enough, or maybe it was just overly overground when they were grinding this, hafting this here, and maybe it's just took a little bit of the mushrooming off the end of the pin. I don't know, but anyway, it's a nice little knife. I quite like it actually. I think I prefer the 619 better. It's just, I mean, I've got quite large hands, and even the 619 is not a huge knife, and it's but there's, you know, enough to get a hold of in the hand, whereas this is a much more delicate little knife. So, you know, I like them both. Just as a final size comparator though, just in case you're not familiar with these knives, my standard comparator for all time is the 93mm Swiss Army knife. So just give you an idea of just how small it is. The 619 is similar size to the Swiss Army knife, very slightly larger with a very slightly longer blade, but a narrower profile, whereas the Colt here is in all ways smaller. It's not as small as an SD Classic or anything like that, but it is a little bit smaller than the Swiss Army knife, and it's much thinner and lighter. I mean, in terms of sort of carry profiles, these little Maserin knives are nice and slim and in the pocket, whereas the Swiss Army is, you know, just that bit, obviously that bit bulkier, but then you've got all those extra blades in it, so it's not really a surprise. Anyway, that's probably enough to be said about such a little knife as the Maserin Colt. It's a nice little knife. It's reasonably well made, with that one little problem, which I suppose most people probably would have sent it back for. I do notice there's a little mark. I think it's a mark rather than a gap between the brass liner and the spring. I never mentioned that. It's brass liners. Yeah, brass liners. Nickel silver bolsters. And yeah, nice little knife. Okay, thank you very much. That's about all I've got to say about it. If you like the stuff, please give it a thumbs up, and if you'd like to see more of the stuff, remember to subscribe and to ring the bell. There will be more coming up. Thank you very much. Bye.